Y'all, let me tell you something about the worst phone call of my life. And I've had some bad ones, trust me. The call telling me my George had his heart attack, the call about my sister's cancer, but this one nearly broke me in a whole different way. My name is Dorothy Henderson. Folks call me Dot. I'm 72 years old, been living in the same Philadelphia row house for 40 years. And I thought I'd seen everything. Retired from teaching elementary school after 35 years. Buried my husband George 2 years ago. He was a cop for 30 years. Good man. Best man I ever knew. But nothing, and I mean nothing, prepared me for that Tuesday morning in October when my phone rang at 8:47 a.m. I was in my kitchen making oatmeal, listening to the morning news, when my cell phone started buzzing on the counter. Unknown number. Normally, I don't answer those. Too many scammers these days trying to steal from old folks. But something made me pick up. Hello? Grandma? The voice was shaky, scared, young. Grandma, it's Marcus. My heart dropped straight into my stomach. Marcus, my grandson, my baby boy's baby boy, 22 years old, junior at Howard University studying political science, the pride of our family. Marcus, baby, what's wrong? You sound... Grandma, I'm in trouble. His voice cracked. I'm in jail. I was in a car accident last night and they're saying I was drinking and Grandma, I'm so sorry. I'm so scared. Jail? Marcus, slow down, baby. What happened? Are you hurt? I'm okay, but Grandma, they're saying I hit someone's car and I need bail. They want $10,000 or I have to stay here until the trial and that could be months and I'll lose my scholarship and $10,000? My hand gripped the counter. Marcus, where are you? Let me call your mama. No. His voice got urgent, almost frantic. Please don't call Mom. She can't know about this. She's been working so hard and this would kill her. Please, Grandma, you're the only one I can trust. The lawyer here says if I can get the bail money today, I can be out by tonight and we can fix this quietly. Please. Everything in me was screaming. My grandson, in jail, scared, needing me. Okay, baby. Okay. Tell me what to do. The lawyer's gonna get on the phone. His name is Mr. Rodriguez. He'll tell you how to send the money. But Grandma, his voice dropped to a whisper. Please hurry. This place is scary. There's people in here who... I'm going to get you out, baby. I promise. Put the lawyer on. A new voice came on. Older, professional, speaking fast. Mrs. Henderson, this is Attorney Rodriguez. I'm representing your grandson. He's in a difficult situation, but we can resolve this quickly if we act quickly. The bail is set at $10,000. I can arrange for you to wire the money. Wait. My teaching instincts kicked in. When something doesn't make sense, ask questions. What jail is he in? What's the case number? Can I come down there? Ma'am, this is a federal holding facility. They don't allow visitors until after arraignment. And time is of the essence here. If we don't post bail by noon, he'll be transferred to county, and that process takes weeks. Your grandson could lose his entire semester. Federal holding facility. That sounded official, real, scary. How do I send the money? I'll need you to go to your bank, withdraw $10,000 in cash, and then purchase money pack cards. Once you have them, call this number back and read me the codes. I'll process them immediately and have Marcus released within the hour. Money pack cards. Something about that pinged in my brain. George used to warn me about something. I called my neighbor Eleanor. She picked up on the second ring. Dot, you okay? You sound shaky. Eleanor, Marcus is in jail. He needs bail money. $10,000. What? Marcus? That sweet boy. What happened? Car accident. Says he was drinking. Eleanor, I need to get to the bank. Wait, wait, Dot. Slow down. Did Marcus call you himself? Yes. Well, him and his lawyer. What's the lawyer's name? Rodriguez. And what jail is Marcus in? Federal holding facility. There was a pause. Too long. Dot, honey, listen to me very carefully. I need you to hang up with me right now and call Marcus on his regular cell phone. What? Eleanor, he's in jail. They took his phone. Just do it. Call his cell phone right now. Then call me back. Something in her voice made me listen. I hung up and dialed Marcus's number, the one I'd had saved in my phone since he was 16. It rang. Once, twice, 3 times. Then, Grandma, hey, I was just thinking about you. What's up? Marcus's voice, clear, happy, not scared at all. The room tilted. Marcus? Yeah, it's me. You okay? You sound weird. Marcus, where are you right now? In my dorm room. Just woke up, actually. Got late studying for my police eye midterm. Why? You're in your dorm room? Yeah? Grandma, seriously, are you okay? My legs gave out. I sat down hard in the kitchen chair. Marcus, baby, I need you to listen very carefully. 10 minutes ago, someone called me pretending to be you, said you were in jail, asked me for $10,000. Silence. Then, oh my God. Grandma, that's that scam, that grandparent scam. Did you send the money? No, not yet. I was about to. Don't send anything. Grandma, it's fake. It's all fake. This is what scammers do. They call grandparents, pretend to be their grandkids in trouble, and steal their money. My professor was just talking about this in class last week. I sat there, phone pressed to my ear, as the full weight of what almost happened crashed over me. I'd almost given away $10,000 to a stranger, a criminal, someone who'd researched me enough to know I had a grandson named Marcus at Howard University, someone who'd almost stolen George's life insurance, the money I'd been saving to help Marcus with grad school. Grandma? You still there? I'm here, baby. Don't feel bad. These guys are professionals. They sound real. They know exactly what to say to scare people. The important thing is you didn't send the money. No, not yet. I was about to. After we hung up, after he made me promise 3 times that I wouldn't answer any more unknown numbers, that I'd tell Mom, that I'd report it to the police, I sat in my quiet kitchen and started shaking. Not from fear, from rage. Someone had tried to steal from me, had used my love for my grandson as a weapon, had done their homework, learned my family's names, knew exactly which buttons to push. And they were probably calling other grandparents right now, other dots, other people who do anything for their grandchildren. I looked at my phone. That number was still in my call log. George had been a cop for 30 years. He'd taught me things, important things, about justice, about not letting bad people win. And he'd left me something valuable. Contacts. Friends in the Philadelphia Police Department. People who'd worked with him, who owed him favors. I picked up my phone and started scrolling through my contacts. Found the name I was looking for. Detective James Morrison. George's old partner. Retired now, but still had connections. Time to do something George would have done. I called Detective James Morrison at 10:30 that morning. He answered on the 3rd ring. Dot Henderson. Now there's a name I haven't heard in a while. How you doing? James, I need your help. Someone just tried to scam me out of $10,000. His tone changed immediately. Tell me everything. I laid it out for him. The phone call, the fake Marcus, the lawyer, the money pack cards. All of it. Grandparent scam, he said when I finished. We've been seeing a lot of these lately. They're getting more sophisticated. Did you send any money? No, but I was about to, if my neighbor hadn't told me to call Marcus first. You got lucky, Dot. Most people don't realize until after they've sent the money. These scammers are good. They research their targets, know the names, know the details. James, I want to catch them. Silence. Then, Dot, I appreciate the thought, but these operations usually run overseas. Pakistan, India, sometimes Eastern Europe. Even if we trace the number, there's not much we can do. So they just get away with it? Unfortunately, yeah, most of the time. That's not good enough. I felt the teacher voice coming out, the one that made rowdy third graders sit up straight. George wouldn't have let it go. George was a cop with resources and jurisdiction. You still have resources and friends in the department. Another pause. What exactly are you proposing? They told me to call back after I got the money. What if I do? Dot, hear me out. What if I call them back, tell them I have the money pack cards, and see if we can trace where they are? Maybe they're local. Maybe we can actually catch them. That's a bad idea, Dot. These people are criminals. They could be dangerous. They're cowards who steal from old people. I'm not scared of them. Dot. James, how many other grandmas are they calling today? How many other people like me who might not have a neighbor like Eleanor, who might not think to call their grandkids first? I could hear him breathing on the other end, thinking. Let me make some calls, he finally said. Don't do anything until you hear from me. How long? Give me an hour. He called back in 45 minutes. Okay, I talked to my old squad. They're interested. But Dot, you have to follow their instructions exactly. No freelancing. These scammers might be overseas, but they might also have local pickups, and those guys can be dangerous. What do I need to do? First, we record the next call. I'm sending Officer Martinez to your house with equipment. He'll set you up. Then you call them back, tell them you have the money, and see what they say. We'll trace the number, see if we can get a location. That's it? That's it. You make the call, we handle the rest. Promise? I promise. Officer Martinez showed up 20 minutes later. Young guy, maybe 30. Reminded me of some of my former students all grown up. Mrs. Henderson, I'm going to set up some recording equipment on your phone. When you call them back, just act natural. Tell them you have the money, see what they want you to do next. He connected some device to my phone, tested it a few times. Okay, real live, whenever you're ready. I took a deep breath and dialed the number from my call log. It rang twice. A man answered, same voice as the lawyer from before. Mrs. Henderson, did you get the money? Yes, I have it. $10,000 in money pack cards, like you said. Excellent. Now I need you to read me the card numbers and PIN codes. Once I verify the funds, I can process Marcus's release immediately. Actually, I was wondering, can I just bring the cards to you? I'd feel better handing them over in person, and I'd like to see Marcus. Pause. Ma'am, as I explained, visitors aren't allowed until after arraignment. But you're his lawyer. You could arrange something, couldn't you? Another pause, longer this time. Mrs. Henderson, we need to move quickly. If you want your grandson released today, where's Marcus being held? What's the address? It's a federal facility. I can't give out that information over the phone. Then I can't give you these card numbers. I'll bring them in person. Ma'am, I hung up. Officer Martinez was staring at me. Mrs. Henderson, what are you doing? We needed you to keep them on the line longer. They'll call back, and when they do, they'll be desperate. That's when people make mistakes. Sure enough, the phone rang again within 2 minutes. Mrs. Henderson, I apologize if I was unclear. Where are you located? I'll bring the cards to your office. I don't have an office. I work out of the... Which courthouse? Listen, ma'am, you're making this very difficult. Your grandson is sitting in a cell right now waiting for you to help him. No, he's not. He's sitting in his dorm room at Howard University. I called him. This whole thing is a scam, and you're a thief. Dead silence. Then, you stupid old... Click. They hung up. Officer Martinez looked at me with something like awe. Did you just call their bluff? Yes. Did you get anything? He checked his equipment. Numbers from a burner phone. But there's something interesting. There's background noise on the recording. Sounds like traffic. City traffic. They might be local. Can you trace it? I'm sending this to our tech guys now. If they're in Philadelphia, we might be able to triangulate the cell tower. He worked on his laptop for a few minutes while I made us both coffee. Mrs. Henderson, I have to ask, why'd you do that? Tell them you knew it was a scam. We could have kept them on the line, maybe gotten more information. Because I wanted them to know they didn't win, that not everyone falls for their lies. That's pretty brave, but also pretty risky. I'm 72 years old. I taught third grade in North Philly for 35 years. I've dealt with worse than phone scammers. His laptop beeped. Got something. The call pinged off a cell tower in North Philly, near Broad and Lehigh. That's 15 minutes from here. Yeah, which means they might have a local operation. Mrs. Henderson, this could actually lead somewhere. My phone rang again. Different number this time. I looked at Officer Martinez. He nodded and hit record. Hello? Mrs. Henderson? A new voice. Older, more polished. This is Captain Stevens with the Philadelphia Police Department. We've been investigating a phone scam operation, and your name came up as a potential victim. Did you receive a suspicious call this morning? Everything in me went cold. Captain Stevens? What's your badge number? Excuse me? Your badge number. My husband was a cop for 30 years. I know protocol. If you're really a cop, you'll have a badge number. Pause. Ma'am, I don't need to provide. I hung up and looked at Officer Martinez. That was them again, wasn't it? Yeah, probably figured if the first scam didn't work, they'd try pretending to be cops. See if you'd give them information that way. They really think I'm that stupid? They think you're desperate to protect your grandson. That makes people vulnerable. My phone rang again. I didn't recognize the number. Want me to answer? Officer Martinez asked. No, let me. Hello? Dot, it's Eleanor. Are you okay? What happened? Did you talk to Marcus? I exhaled. Yeah, I did. He's fine. It was a scam. Oh, thank God. Dot, I was so worried. I've been hearing about these on the news. They target seniors, use their grandkids' names. Eleanor, can you do me a favor? Anything. Call the other ladies from church, Mrs. Patterson, Mrs. Chen, Mrs. Rodriguez. Tell them what happened to me. Warn them. If they get calls like this, don't send money. Call their grandkids first. I'll call them right now. After I hung up, Officer Martinez was looking at me with respect. That's smart. Spreading the word. Most victims are too embarrassed to tell anyone. I'm not embarrassed. I'm angry, and I want to make sure this doesn't happen to anyone else. His laptop beeped again. Mrs. Henderson, my sergeant wants to talk to you. Would you be willing to come down to the station? They want to see if you'd work with them on this. Work with them how? These scammers might call you back. If they do, we'd like you to play along, maybe set up a meet. Help us catch them. I thought about George, about what he'd do. Let's go catch some criminals. The Philadelphia Police Department's fraud division was in a building I'd driven past 100 times but never been inside. Officer Martinez walked me through security, up to the third floor, into a room full of detectives and computers. A woman in her 40s stood up when we entered. Sharp suit, sharper eyes. Mrs. Henderson, I'm Sergeant Lisa Chen. Your husband was George Henderson? That's right. I worked a case with him 5 years ago. Bank robbery turned hostage situation. He talked the guy down, saved 3 people. Hell of a cop. Hell of a man. She smiled. Come sit. Let me explain what we're dealing with. She pulled up a presentation on a screen. Charts, graphs, phone numbers, faces. Grandparent scams have exploded in the last 2 years. Millions stolen annually just in our region. The scammers usually operate overseas, but we've been tracking a local crew. She clicked to a photo. Young guy, maybe 25, tattoos on his neck. This is Dante Williams, small-time criminal. 3 months ago, he started showing up with a lot of cash. New car, new clothes. We think he's the local pickup guy for a scam operation. Pickup guy? The overseas scammers get victims to buy money pack cards, but they need someone local to collect and cash them. That's Dante. He meets victims, takes the cards, keeps a cut while sending the rest overseas. So if I'd bought those cards, you might have met Dante. The calls to you pinged off a tower near Broad and Lehigh. That's his neighborhood. Which is why we're interested in your case. Sergeant Chen continued. If these scammers call you back, we might be able to set up a meeting, catch Dante in the act, and arrest him and flip him. Get him to tell us who he's working with, but it's risky. These people are criminals. If something feels wrong, you walk away. Understood? I thought about the anger I'd felt that morning, about other grandmas who might not be as lucky. I'm in. What do I need to do? First, we wait, see if they call back. But if they do... She pulled out what looked like a regular cell phone. This records everything and sends audio directly to us. You'd use this for any calls with them. And if they agree to meet in person, we'd wire you up, put undercover officers nearby. Wire me up? Like in the movies? Exactly. Small microphone, hidden camera. You'd meet Dante wherever they say, hand over fake money pack cards, and we'd move in. What if he figures out I'm working with police? That's the risk. You can say no right now. I kicked up the phone, thought about George, about Marcus, about all the grandparents who'd already lost their savings. When do we start? Sergeant Chen smiled. Right now. We're going to call them back. You're going to tell them you've reconsidered, that you still have the money. And if they don't believe me? These guys are greedy. They think they had you hooked. Odds are they'll give you another chance. She was right. We called the number. The lawyer answered. Mrs. Henderson. I'm sorry about earlier. I panicked. I called my grandson, but I realize now he might have been lying to save face. You know how young men are. Please, is there still time to help him? Pause. I could almost hear the wheels turning. Mrs. Henderson, yes, there's still time, but we need to act quickly. The arraignment is this afternoon. I have the money. I bought the money pack cards like you said, $10,000. Can I bring them to you? Actually, that would be perfect. There's a Starbucks near the courthouse. Could you meet me there in 1 hour? Sergeant Chen was writing on a notepad. Say yes. Get address. Yes, of course. Which Starbucks? Broad and South Street. Do you know it? I can find it. Excellent. I'll be wearing a blue suit, carrying a leather briefcase. Please bring all the cards. We can't process a partial bail. I'll bring everything. 1 hour. I hung up and looked at Sergeant Chen. Got him, she said. Broad and South. Busy intersection. Good for us. Lots of witnesses, lots of cameras. Martinez, get a team together. Plain clothes in that Starbucks and on the street. Dot, we're fitting you with a wire and camera. The next 40 minutes were a blur. They fitted me with a microphone smaller than a dime, taped under my blouse. Gave me a purse with the hidden camera. Briefed me 3 times on what to say. Remember, Sergeant Chen said as they loaded me into an unmarked car, you're a grandmother trying to help her grandson. You're nervous, worried, not sure about this. Stay in that character. I taught drama club for 10 years. I can handle it. She grinned. George trained you well. The drive took 15 minutes. I could see at least 4 unmarked police cars in the area. Officer Martinez pointed out where other officers were positioned. That guy reading the newspaper? Detective Kim. Woman with the stroller? Officer Patterson. We've got you covered from every angle. They dropped me off a block away. I walked to the Starbucks, ordered a latte I didn't want, and sat down at a table near the window. My phone buzzed. Text? I'm here. Blue suit, outside. I looked through the window. A man in a blue suit stood on the corner. Older, maybe 40, actually looked like he could be a lawyer. He saw me looking, smiled, and came inside. Mrs. Henderson. Mr. Rodriguez? Please, call me Miguel. He sat down, set his briefcase on the table. Thank you for meeting me. I know this has been stressful. I just want to help my grandson. Of course. Did you bring the cards? I pulled an envelope from my purse. Inside were 10 fake money pack cards the police had mocked up. All $10,000, like you said. He reached for the envelope. I pulled it back slightly. Can I see some identification? Proof that you're Marcus's lawyer? His smile tightened. Mrs. Henderson, we discussed this. Time is critical. I just need to be sure. I'm trusting you with my life savings. Of course. He pulled out a business card. Here's my card, and if you'd like, I can call the jail right now. That's okay. I trust you. I handed him the envelope. He opened it, checked the cards, nodded. These look perfect. I'll process these immediately and have Marcus released within the hour. You did the right thing. When can I see him? He'll call you as soon as he's released. Thank you for being such a caring grandmother. He stood up, briefcase in hand, and turned toward the door. That's when Sergeant Chin walked in, badge out. Police, hands where I can see them. The man in the blue suit froze. Then he bolted. He made it 3 steps before Officer Martinez came through the other door and tackled him. The briefcase went flying, fake money pack cards scattering across the floor. Other customers screamed. Baristas ducked behind the counter. I just sat there, watching as they handcuffed the man in blue suit and read him his rights. Sergeant Chen came over to me. You okay? That was exciting. She laughed. You did great. Come on, let's get you out of here. As they walked me outside, I saw them loading the man into a police car. He looked at me through the window and I saw it, the moment he realized he'd been set up by a 72-year-old grandma. I smiled and waved. George would have been proud. Back at the police station, they had Miguel in an interrogation room. His real name was Carlos Mendez, and according to Sergeant Chin, he had priors for fraud, identity theft, and forgery. He's not talking yet, she told me as we watched through the one-way glass. But he will. They always do once they realize how much trouble they're in. What about Dante, the guy from the photos? We're working on that. Carlos's phone has dozens of calls to a number we believe belongs to Dante. We're getting a warrant now. I watched Carlos through the glass. He looked ordinary, like someone's uncle, someone you trust. How many people do you think he's done this to? Hard to say. Could be dozens, could be hundreds. These operations run for months, sometimes years before we catch them. And the people overseas, the ones who make the original calls? That's trickier. International jurisdiction is complicated, but we've notified the FBI. If they can trace the calls back to a specific location, they might be able to coordinate with authorities there. Officer Martinez came in with coffee. Mrs. Henderson, you should know, Carlos had over $20,000 in cash in his car, and a list of names and phone numbers. We think those are other victims. 20,000? In one day? Probably over several days. But yeah, this is lucrative for these guys. Low risk, high reward. Until now. Sergeant Chen's phone rang. She answered, listened, then smiled. Warrant came through. We're going to pick up Dante. Want to watch? Can I? You're part of this operation now. Come on. They loaded into 3 unmarked cars. I rode with Sergeant Chen and Martinez. The address was in North Philly, a neighborhood I'd driven through plenty but never stopped in. Rundown row houses, kids playing in the street despite the cold, corner stores with bars on the windows. That's his house, Martinez said, pointing to a narrow brick row house with a sagging porch. Blue door. They'd brought backup, 6 officers in tactical gear. I stayed in the car while they approached the house, knocked, announced themselves. Nothing. They knocked again, louder. Dante Williams, Philadelphia Police. We have a warrant. Still nothing. Then one of the tactical officers radioed back. Rear exit, someone's running. I watched as 2 officers sprinted around the side of the house, heard shouting, more running. Then they brought him back. Dante Williams, the guy from the photos, handcuffed and cursing. Young, angry, and now very caught. They put him in one of the police cars. As they drove past, he looked right at me sitting in Sergeant Chen's passenger seat. Our eyes met for just a second. I wondered if he knew, if he understood that a 72-year-old grandmother had just helped end his criminal career. Back at the station, they put Dante in a different interrogation room from Carlos. The 2 men didn't know yet that they'd both been arrested. That was intentional. We'll tell each one that the other was talking, Sergeant Chen explained. Make them think they need to cooperate first to get a better deal. Classic interrogation technique. Does it work? Usually. Criminals are loyal until they're not. Fear of prison makes people very talkative. She was right. Within 2 hours, Carlos was singing. He gave them everything. Names, phone numbers, how the operation worked, where the overseas callers were located. The main call center is in Manila, Philippines. They hire people who speak good English, give them scripts, train them to sound American. They buy lists of names and phone numbers, usually stolen from data breaches. Then they research their targets on social media, find out who their grandkids are, where they go to school, personal details. Makes the scam more convincing. And people just fall for it? When you think your grandchild is in danger, yeah, people fall for it. You almost did. She was right. If Eleanor hadn't told me to call Marcus... Carlos says they've been running this operation for 8 months. He estimates they've stolen over $500,000 just in the Philadelphia area. $500,000? And that's just what he knows about. There could be more victims who never reported it, too embarrassed, or they didn't realize it was a scam until it was too late. What happens now? Now we contact every person on that list we found in Carlos's car. Let them know what happened. Some of them might not even realize they were scammed. Some might be willing to testify. And the people in Manila? FBI is coordinating with Philippine authorities. It'll take time, but they'll shut it down eventually. And Carlos and Dante? She smiled. They're looking at federal charges. Wire fraud, conspiracy, elder abuse. They're going away for a while. I should have felt satisfaction, victory. These were bad people who were finally facing consequences. But all I felt was tired and sad for all the other grandparents who hadn't been as lucky as me. Miss Henderson? A young officer approached us. There's someone here to see you. Who? Says his name is Marcus. My heart jumped. I turned and there he was, my actual grandson, Marcus Henderson Jr., standing in the police station lobby, looking worried and confused. Grandma, what are you doing here? Mom called me freaking out, said you were at the police station. I hugged him so hard he gasped. I'm okay, baby. I'm fine. What happened? Mom said something about a scam. I'll explain everything, but first, I need you to meet some people. I introduced him to Sergeant Chen and Officer Martinez, explained what happened that morning, how someone had called pretending to be him, how I got almost sent $10,000. Marcus's face went through several emotions: shock, anger, guilt. Grandma, I'm so sorry. If I'd known these guys were using my name, it's not your fault, baby. These criminals research their targets. They know I have a grandson named Marcus at Howard. They probably found that on my Facebook. I'm going to delete all my social media. No, you're going to be more careful about what you post. We all are. But Marcus, I'm okay. In fact, I helped catch them. His eyes widened as I told him about the sting operation, about wearing a wire, about watching them arrest Carlos and Dante. Grandma, that's insane. That's so dangerous. What if something had gone wrong? But it didn't, and now these guys can't hurt anyone else. Sergeant Chen cleared her throat. Actually, Marcus, we were hoping you might help us with something. Me? How? We want to make a public service announcement, warning other people about these scams. It would be powerful to have a real grandson and grandmother talking about their experience. Would you be willing? Marcus looked at me. I nodded. Yeah, absolutely. If it helps other people avoid this? Good. We'll set something up for tomorrow. In the meantime, Miss Henderson, you should go home, get some rest. You've had quite a day. Marcus drove me home in his car he'd driven up from D.C. as soon as his mom called him. The whole way, he kept looking over at me like he couldn't believe what I'd done. Grandpa would be so proud. You think so? Grandma, you helped catch criminals, like actual bad guys, using police tactics. That's the most Grandpa Henderson thing I've ever heard. I smiled. He taught me well. When we got to my house, Eleanor was waiting on my porch with half the church ladies. They brought food, casseroles, fried chicken, enough to feed an army. Dot Henderson, you gave us all heart attacks today. Working with the police? Going undercover at your age? I'm 72, not dead. Could have been if those criminals figured out what you were doing. But she was smiling. They were all smiling. And as we sat in my living room eating dinner and telling the story over and over, I realized something. George had been gone 2 years. I'd been lonely, going through the motions, feeling like my useful days were behind me. But today I'd done something that mattered. I'd protected people, stopped criminals, made a difference. Maybe my useful days weren't over after all. Maybe they were just beginning. The next morning, I woke up to my phone ringing. 6 missed calls, 12 text messages, and 3 voicemails. The first voicemail was from my daughter Patricia, Marcus's mom. Mom, what the hell? Marcus told me what you did yesterday. Working with the police? Going undercover? Are you trying to give me a heart attack? Call me back immediately. The second was from Sergeant Chen. Mrs. Henderson, the media got wind of the arrests. They're calling it the grandma sting. We've got news outlets requesting interviews. No pressure, but if you're willing to talk about your experience, it might help warn other seniors. Call me when you can. The third was from a number I didn't recognize. Hi, Mrs. Henderson. This is Rebecca Martinez from Channel 6 Action News. We'd love to interview you about yesterday's arrests. You're a hero. Please call me back. A hero. I sat on the edge of my bed, phone in hand, trying to process that word. I wasn't a hero. I was just a grandma who got angry and decided to do something about it. But maybe that's what heroes were. Regular people who got tired of letting bad things happen. I called Patricia first. Mom, finally! Do you have any idea how worried I was? I'm fine, honey. Everything's fine. You worked with the police to catch criminals. That's not fine. That's insane. Your father would have done the same thing. Silence. Then a sigh. Yeah, he would have. Doesn't mean I have to like it. I'm sorry I scared you. But Patricia, these people were stealing from elderly folks all over the city. They needed to be stopped. I know, Marcus told me everything. I'm proud of you, Mom. Terrified, but proud. After we hung up, I called Sergeant Chin. Dot, did you get my message? The story's blowing up. Local news, national news, even some international outlets picked it up. 72-year-old grandma helps police catch scammers. You're famous. I don't want to be famous. I just wanted to catch the bad guys. Well, you did both. Listen, I know media attention can be overwhelming, but this is a real opportunity. These scams work because people don't know about them. If you're willing to go public with your story, you could save thousands of people from being victimized. I thought about that, about all the other dots out there, other grandmas and grandpas who might get that phone call, who might not have an Eleanor to tell them to double check. Okay, what do I need to do? We've got requests from Channel 6, Channel 10, NBC, and CBS, plus some print journalists. I'd suggest doing one good TV interview, something with reach, and then a press conference here at the station. Get the word out all at once. Which one should I do? Channel 6 has the biggest senior viewership in the region. Their morning show, Good Morning Philadelphia. It airs at 8 a.m., reaches about 200,000 people. I think that's your best bet. When? Tomorrow morning, if you're up for it. I took a deep breath. I'm up for it. You're going on television to talk about catching criminals. You need to look good. Now sit down, let me do your hair. As she fussed with my hair, she said quietly, "You know George would be beside himself right now." Proud or horrified? Both. That man loved you something fierce, Dodd, and he'd be so proud that you're using what he taught you to help other people. My eyes got wet. I miss him. I know, but he's watching, and he's smiling. The next morning, Marcus picked me up at 6:30 a.m. to drive me to the studio. He'd taken a few days off from school to stay with me. You ready for this, Grandma? As ready as I'll ever be. The Channel 6 studios were bigger than I expected. They put me in makeup, just to reduce shine from the lights, the makeup artist explained, and fitted me with a microphone. The hosts were a man and woman in their 40s, both with perfect teeth and friendly smiles. "Miss Henderson, thank you so much for doing this," the woman said. "I'm Sarah, and this is Tom. We're just going to have a conversation. Be natural, tell your story, and we'll guide you through it." When the camera started rolling, I was nervous for about 10 seconds. Then Sarah asked, "Mrs. Henderson, can you tell us what happened Tuesday morning?" And the words just flowed. I told them everything. The phone call, the fake Marcus, how I'd almost sent the money, how Eleanor saved me, how I'd worked with the police to set up the sting. "What made you decide to work with the police?" Tom asked. "That's incredibly brave." "I was angry," I said simply. "These people prey on grandparents. They use our love for our grandchildren as a weapon. And I thought, how many other folks are getting these calls right now? How many people don't have a neighbor like Eleanor to tell them to double check?" "What advice would you give to other seniors who might receive calls like this?" "Hang up and call your grandchild directly. Don't use the number the caller gives you. Use the number you already have saved. And if your grandchild really is in trouble, they'll tell you. But 9 times out of 10, it's a scam." "Any other warning signs?" "They want you to act fast. They say things like, 'Don't tell anyone,' or 'Wire money immediately.' Real emergencies don't work like that. Real lawyers don't demand money pack cards. If something feels wrong, it probably is." After the interview, as they were removing my microphone, Sarah said, "You're going to help a lot of people with this, Mrs. Henderson. Thank you." The segment aired that morning and apparently went viral. By noon, it had been picked up by national news. By evening, I had interview requests from CNN, The Today Show, and Good Morning America. Sergeant Chen called. Dot, you're a phenomenon. Our tip line has been flooded with calls from seniors reporting similar scams. Some of them didn't even realize they'd been scammed until they saw you on TV. How many calls? Over 100 so far, and that's just in Philadelphia. This is happening nationwide. Can you catch them all? We'll try. The FBI is setting up a task force. Your case has given them momentum. People are paying attention now. That afternoon, I did a press conference at the police station with Sergeant Chen, Officer Martinez, and Marcus. More cameras, more questions, more reporters than I'd ever seen in my life. But the question that stuck with me came from a young reporter in the back. Mrs. Henderson, you're 72 years old. Most people your age are retired, taking it easy. What made you risk your safety to catch these criminals? I thought about that. About George. About teaching. About all the years I'd spent trying to make a difference in small ways. Because I could, I said finally. I had the knowledge, I had the support of good police officers, and I had the chance to do something that mattered. Age doesn't mean you stop being useful. It just means you have more experience to draw from. The reporter smiled. Thank you, Mrs. Henderson. That evening, Eleanor came over with wine and Chinese takeout. You're famous, Dot, she announced, pulling up her phone. Look, you're trending on Twitter. #GrandmaGetsJustice. I don't know what that means. It means people love you. Look at these comments. This woman is my hero. I want to be like her when I grow up. Someone give her a badge. I laughed. That's ridiculous. That's impact, Dot. You did something real, something that matters. We ate lo mein and watched the news coverage. Me on 3 different channels telling the same story with slightly different angles. You think this will actually help, or is it just entertainment? Both, maybe. But even if it only helps one person, one grandmother who gets that call and remembers your story and hangs up, then it was worth it. She was right. And as I went to bed that night, my phone still buzzing with messages and notifications, I felt something I hadn't felt in the 2 years since George died. Purpose. I'd found my purpose again. Not as a wife or a teacher, or even just as a grandmother. As someone who could make a difference, who could fight back against people who hurt others. And I wasn't done yet.
2 weeks after the arrests, Sergeant Chen called me with news. Dot, remember I told you about the FBI task force? They want you to be part of it. Part of it how? As a consultant, they're putting together a program to educate seniors about scams. They want you to help develop training materials, maybe speak at community centers, churches, senior facilities. Show your face, tell your story, teach people how to protect themselves. I'm not an expert, I just got lucky. You're exactly the kind of expert they need, someone who lived through it, someone people can relate to, someone who fought back. I thought about it, about spending my days doing something meaningful again, about helping people the way George used to. How much does it pay? She laughed. It's volunteer, but they'll cover your expenses, travel, meals, materials. And Dot, you'd be saving lives. These scams destroy people, their savings, their dignity, their trust. You could prevent that. When do I start? Next week. There's a senior center in South Philly that's been hit hard by these scams. They've asked for someone to come speak. I told them I knew the perfect person. The senior center was called Golden Years Community Center, a converted church in a neighborhood that had seen better days. About 50 seniors packed into the fellowship hall. Black, white, Latino, Asian, all ages, from 60 to 90-something. Sergeant Chen introduced me. This is Dorothy Henderson. Some of you might have seen her on the news. She helped us catch two scammers who were targeting grandparents. She's here today to share her story and teach you how to protect yourselves. I stood up, looked at all those faces, and saw myself in every one of them. 2 weeks ago, I almost gave away $10,000 to a criminal. He called me pretending to be my grandson, said he was in jail, said he needed bail money, and I believed him. I told them the whole story, the fear I'd felt, the panic, how convincing the scammer had been. The reason it worked, almost worked, is because they knew exactly what to say. They researched me, knew my grandson's name, where he went to school. They knew which buttons to push. A woman in the front row raised her hand, older than me, maybe 80, wearing a church hat. I got a call like that last month. Said my son was in a car accident in Mexico, needed $5,000 for hospital bills. I sent it. Did you report it? She shook her head, ashamed. I was too embarrassed. My kids don't even know. You have nothing to be embarrassed about. These are professional criminals. They do this for a living. But I need you to report it. Even if you can't get your money back, it helps police track these operations. Another hand went up. A man this time, looked to be about 70. They got my wife for $8,000. Said I was in jail, that I'd asked them to call her. She wired the money before she even tried to call me. She's been so depressed since then. Feels like it's her fault. It's not her fault. And I need you both to come talk to me after this. Sergeant Chen can help you file reports. But more importantly, I looked around the room. We need to talk to each other, share these stories, warn each other. These scammers count on us being too ashamed to speak up. We need to break that silence. For the next hour, we talked. People shared their stories. Some who'd been scammed, some who'd received suspicious calls but hadn't fallen for it, some who were just scared. An elderly Korean woman stood up, speaking through her granddaughter who translated. She wants to know, her English isn't perfect. If someone calls and she can't understand everything they're saying, how does she know if it's real? Tell her if she's confused or scared, hang up and call a family member. Always. No real emergency requires you to make a decision while you're still on the phone with a stranger. After the presentation, people lined up to talk to me, to share their stories, to thank me, to ask questions. The woman in the church hat was crying. I thought I was the only one. I thought I was stupid. You're not stupid. You're trusting. And they took advantage of that. But now you know, and you can help other people know. She hugged me. Thank you. Thank you for not making me feel ashamed. That's when I understood what this was really about. Not just preventing scams, but giving people back their dignity, letting them know they weren't alone. Over the next month, I spoke at 6 more senior centers, a church in West Philly, a retirement community in the suburbs, a community college's adult education program. Each time the same stories, different names, different amounts, but the same shame, the same feeling that they should have known better. You couldn't have known better, I told them every time. These criminals are experts at manipulation, but now that you do know, you can protect yourself and your friends and your family. At one event, a man approached me afterward, looked to be about my age, well-dressed, confident. Mrs. Henderson, my name is Robert Chen. I'm a producer for 60 Minutes. We'd like to do a segment on elder scams, and we'd love for you to be part of it. 60 Minutes? The TV show? The one and only. We're doing an investigation into the global nature of these scams, the call centers overseas, the money laundering networks, the local pickups. Your story would be the perfect way to show how these operations work and how ordinary people can fight back. I don't know. Think about it. We're talking about reaching 20 million viewers. Imagine how many people you could help. I thought about the woman in the church hat.
about the man whose wife had been scammed, about all the people I'd met who felt ashamed and alone. When do you need an answer? We'd like to start filming next month. I'll email you the details. No pressure, but Mrs. Henderson, you have a gift for this, for making people feel empowered instead of victimized. That's rare. When I told Eleanor about the 60 Minutes offer, she nearly dropped her coffee. 60 Minutes? Dot. That's huge. You have to do it. I'm not sure I'm ready for that kind of attention. You've been on the news a dozen times. You speak at senior centers every week. You're already doing this. 60 Minutes is just a bigger audience. George never liked attention. George was a cop. You're a teacher. Teachers share knowledge. That's what you'd be doing. She was right. This wasn't about fame or attention. It was about teaching on the biggest scale possible. I called Robert Chin back the next day. I'll do it. The 60 Minutes crew followed me for 2 weeks. They filmed me at speaking events, interviewed me at home, even went with me to the police station to interview Sergeant Chen and the detectives. They flew me to Manila to see one of the call centers that had been shut down after our arrests led to an international investigation. Rows and rows of empty desks, headsets still plugged in, scripts scattered everywhere. "This is where they called you from," the producer said, pointing to a desk. "Could have been this exact spot." I picked up one of the scripts. It was chilling. Detailed instructions on how to sound panicked, how to cry on cue, how to pressure victims into acting fast. "They trained for this," I said to the camera. "This isn't some random crime. This is organized, professional, calculated." But they also filmed something beautiful. A follow-up at the senior center in South Philly, where the woman in the church had started her own support group for scam victims. Mrs. Henderson inspired me. She showed me I didn't have to be ashamed. So now I help other people who've been through this. We meet twice a month, share our stories, warn each other about new scams, support each other. That, more than anything else, made me realize what we'd created. Not just awareness, community, connection, healing. The 60 Minutes segment aired on a Sunday night in November. Patricia flew up from Atlanta to watch it with me. Marcus drove down from Howard. Eleanor came over with half the church ladies. We all crowded into my living room and watched as my face filled the screen. 2 weeks ago, Dorothy Henderson was an ordinary grandmother living in Philadelphia. Today, she's leading a national movement against elder fraud. For the next 20 minutes, they told the whole story: the scam call, the sting operation, the arrests, the speaking tour, the support groups popping up in cities across the country. "How does it feel to be a national hero?" the interviewer asked me in the final segment. "I'm not a hero. I'm just a grandma who got mad and decided to do something about it. But if my story helps even one person avoid being scammed, then it was all worth it." When it ended, the room was silent for a moment. Then Patricia started crying. "Mom, I'm so proud of you." Marcus was filming on his phone. "Grandma, you're trending again, #1 on Twitter." Eleanor just hugged me. George is smiling. Wherever he is, he's so damn proud. I looked at all of them, my family, my friends, my community, and felt something shift inside me. For 2 years after George died, I'd felt lost, like my purpose had died with him. But I was wrong. My purpose hadn't died. It had just been waiting for the right moment to show itself. And that moment had come in the form of a scam call that tried to steal my money, but instead gave me back my life. 6 months after that phone call changed my life, I stood in the Philadelphia Convention Center in front of 500 seniors and their families. The Seniors Against Scams conference had grown beyond anything I'd imagined. "Thank you all for being here," I said into the microphone. "My name is Dorothy Henderson, and I'm here to tell you that you have power." In the audience, I saw faces I recognized. The woman in the church hat who'd started the support group. The man whose wife had been scammed. Marcus sat in the front row with Patricia. Eleanor was in the back with the church ladies, beaming. 6 months ago, someone tried to steal $10,000 from me, I continued. They pretended to be my grandson, and I almost fell for it. I told the story one more time, but this time I focused on what came after. The FBI estimates that elder fraud cost Americans over $3 billion annually. That's money stolen from grandparents, retirees, people on fixed incomes. I showed photos of Carlos and Dante in prison jumpsuits. These two men are serving 4 years in federal prison. The call center in Manila was shut down. 17 people arrested internationally. And last month, the FBI recovered over $2 million they're returning to victims. Applause filled the room. But that's not the real victory. The real victory is you, this room, every person learning how to protect themselves. I showed statistics. Since our story went viral, reports of grandparent scams have dropped 23% in Philadelphia. Senior centers across the country have implemented fraud education programs. Banks are training tellers to recognize elder abuse. We're making a difference. A hand went up. Young woman, maybe 30. "Mrs. Henderson, my grandmother was scammed last year, lost her entire savings. She was too ashamed to tell us. How do we make sure that doesn't happen to other families?" Talk about it. Openly. No shame, no judgment. These scammers count on silence. When we share these stories, we take away their power. Another hand. Older man. "I run a senior center in West Philly. We want to start a fraud prevention program but don't have resources. Where do we start?" You start with conversation. Get people in a room. Share stories. The police department has free materials, and there's a whole network of survivors willing to share our experiences. After the presentation, people lined up to talk to me. A tiny, elderly woman grabbed my hand with surprising strength. "They got me for $12,000. Grandson in jail scam, just like yours. But I saw you on TV. I started a support group at my church. 25 members now. You saved me from shame, Mrs. Henderson. You gave me my dignity back." That's when I understood. This was never about the money or catching criminals. This was about healing, about community, about refusing to let criminals make us feel weak or stupid. That evening, there was a small reception. City officials, police brass, FBI agents, community leaders. The police commissioner gave a speech. "Mrs. Henderson represents the best of Philadelphia. Because of her actions, we've dismantled a major criminal operation and created a template for fighting elder fraud nationally." He presented me with the civilian commendation. Sergeant Chen pulled me aside. "Dot, remember Dante? He's been cooperating. Because of his testimony, we've connected this operation to 15 other scam rings. The FBI estimates we've prevented over $10 million in potential fraud." 10 million? 10 million. Because you got angry and decided to do something about it. My phone buzzed. Text from a number I didn't recognize. Mrs. Henderson, my name is Janet Torres. I'm 68. I got the grandson scam call today, but I saw your 60 Minutes interview last month. I hung up, called my grandson, found out it was fake. Thank you. You saved me from losing everything. I showed Sergeant Chen the message. That's why we do this, she said. The individual lives saved. That night, I sat on my porch like I used to with George. The street was quiet. I pulled out my phone and scrolled through messages, hundreds of them. People thanking me, sharing their stories, asking for advice. One message stood out. From the woman in the church hat. Mrs. Henderson, our support group now has 50 members. We're starting chapters in 3 other churches. People are healing. Thank you for showing us the way. I replied, you showed yourself the way. I just gave you permission to walk it. Keep going. Then I started writing. Dear George, it's been 2 years since you left. 2 years of missing you. But I think I finally understand. I'm not who I was with you. I'm who you helped me become. Strong, brave, unwilling to let bad people win. You taught me that. And now I'm teaching it to others. I wrote until my fingers cramped, told him everything. I hope you're proud, because George, I'm finally living again. Not just existing, living, making a difference, being useful, being me. Thank you for teaching me how. I love you, always. Dot. My phone rang. Unknown number. I answered. This is Dorothy Henderson. If you're calling to scam me, you should know I work with the police and I've helped put several criminals in prison. Still want to talk? Silence. Then a click. I laughed. Even scammers knew my name now. 3 months later, I testified before Congress about elder fraud. The solution isn't just law enforcement, I told them. It's education. It's community. It's teaching seniors that they have power, that their age makes them wise, not weak. The bill passed unanimously. It would fund fraud prevention programs at senior centers nationwide. A year after that phone call, I published a book, The Grandma Who Fought Back, One Woman's War Against Elder Fraud. I donated all the advance to fund support groups and education programs. 2 years after the scam call, I stood at George's grave on what would have been his 75th birthday. Hey baby, it's me. I brought your favorite, apple pie from that bakery you loved. I sat on the grass. I've been busy, really busy. Remember how after I retired I felt useless? Well, turns out I was just waiting for a new classroom. Except now my students are seniors, learning how to not get scammed. A cardinal landed nearby, bright red. I've been thinking about legacy, about what we leave behind. You left me your values, your courage, your belief that one person can make a difference. And I'm using all of that every day. The cardinal flew away. I'm okay, George. More than okay. I'm happy. I'm useful. I'm living. And I know you're proud. So thank you for 30 years of marriage, for teaching me to be strong. I stood up. I have a speaking engagement in an hour. Senior Center in Baltimore. 50 people who want to learn how to protect themselves. That's because of you, George. All of this is because you taught me to care, to fight, to never give up. I kissed my fingers, touched his headstone. I love you. Always will. Now watch me go make you proud. Epilogue. If you're watching this, you've heard my story. Here's what I want you to understand. You have power. If you're a senior, you have decades of wisdom. Don't let anyone make you feel weak. If someone calls claiming to be your grandchild in trouble, hang up and call them directly. If something feels wrong, it probably is. Trust your instincts. If you're a family member, talk to your elderly relatives, not to lecture them, but to empower them. Make sure they know about these scams. And if you've been scammed, please don't be ashamed. Report it. Get help. Join a support group. You're not alone and it's not your fault. These criminals are professionals, but we can be better at fighting back. I'm 73 years old now. I've spoken to over 10,000 people about fraud prevention. I've helped start 47 support groups across the country. I've worked with the FBI to dismantle 6 major scam operations. And I'm not done yet, because every day someone's grandmother gets that phone call, and I'm going to keep fighting until every single one of them knows to hang up and call their grandchild. Drop a comment below. Have you or someone you know experienced a scam like this? What happened? Let's share our stories and protect each other. Hit subscribe if you want to hear more stories about fighting back against injustice, no matter your age. And remember, you're never too old to be a hero. Sometimes being a hero just means getting angry at the right time and refusing to be a victim. Stay safe out there. And trust me, if a 72-year-old retired teacher can help catch criminals, you can protect yourself. God bless, and thank you for listening.